Hi everyone, I hope you're having a really great Sunday. So what I'm talking about right now is something that's really near and dear to my heart. When I first started making videos, I was talking about brainwave function, and I used to call it alternate brainwave function, and I was referring to people who have ADHD or they're on the autistic spectrum, things like that, as an example, and how, you know, they have a lot of skills that the average person doesn't have, and that perhaps they've been given a raw deal as far as being told that something's wrong with them instead of appreciating the gifts that they do have. And so that's what I want to talk about today. So alternate brainwave function is actually neurodivergent, and people with normal brainwave function is called neurotypical. So that's what I want to talk about now. Human beings, one of the most adaptable species in the universe when it comes to their ability to evolve quickly, to transmute energy, and change their molecular structure. And that's really amazing. So despite all the technology that we have currently, there seem to be more and more children that are showing up on the spectrum or with, ADHD or all these various things, and they come up with reasons like chemicals and this and that and everything. But really, if you look at the amount of technology that we have in nutrition and everything, it doesn't seem that the numbers should be going up that much because of some chemicals. So what if it were a natural evolutionary process, and these people, these children or adults that have a neurodivergent situation going on, their alternate brainwave function, let's call it that, were actually an evolutionary desirable situation, for a human being. Anyone who spent any time working with children that are in this category, they often say, sorry, I have a funny little setup here. They will often say that these kids are amazing, and they consider what I just said to be true. So, what does it mean? Why do they say that they're on the spectrum anyway? I don't know why the medical organization says anything or labels anything specifically, because here's my disclaimer, I am not certified, I do not have a degree, these are simply my ideas. But spectrum also refers to the spectrum of light, the visible spectrum of light. And everything that you see, that you're able to see, depends on what your eye is able to perceive on the light spectrum. You have the visible and the non-visible light spectrum. So why is it that some people are able to see spirits, ghosts, entities, whatever you choose to call them, and other people can't? Or occasionally people that can't will see something odd from time to time. Why is that? Well, it would depend on whether or not your brain is able to perceive that particular light spectrum or frequency band. What I call, it's like changing the channel. Frequencies are like channels. You tune in, you tune out. This feels good, that doesn't feel good. It all depends on what's vibrating on your specific frequency, whether it feels comfortable or not. If it's too different, it can be a little uncomfortable. It's like two radio stations playing at the same time, and it can be really disturbing. And the same thing with when you see something that you don't normally see, whether you do it through the use of hallucinogenic drugs or because something is shifting in your brain and you're able to see something and it goes in and out, things like that. It can be really disturbing to what you've considered to be reality, because these vibrational frequency bands and spectrums are never discussed, and there's a reason for that. So where am I going with this? If it's true that someone on the spectrum was actually an evolution and brain capacity, or it's just a variation, but a positive one that is functioning in a different way, that can be in our society and share information and things that are not normally pulled in, then they should be supported and not ostracized and made to feel different, when actually they are a good difference. We're all different. Some are more different than others, but everyone has something to offer. And this is actually supported by the fact that many of the greatest minds of all time were incredibly odd, right? If they are able to survive and function long enough to contribute something amazing to society, then they're put up on a pedestal. But until that time, we have a tendency to point fingers and ridicule and harm them, because they're different. And this is one of our biggest downfalls as a society, in my opinion. Walt Disney and Albert Einstein are two that just roll off in my memory. There are many, and there are many currently in our society as well, that were considered retarded, if you will. They were dyslexic and ADHD and all kinds of things, and they were terrible, failing out of school and everything. And look what they accomplished. Nikola Tesla, I didn't get into that whole thing. That's on everyone's tongue now, because everything that came out of his mouth was phenomenally beyond his time. So anything that's going to be blocking out the sun, which is light, which provides a spectrum of light. The entire spectrum of light comes from the sun, and light is information. So if you're being told that in order to stop everything from heating up on the planet, that you need to block out the sun, when the sun is what keeps everything alive, the sun is what heals, the sun is what gives you information, it activates your brainwave frequencies, your spectrum of possibilities, then that's not necessarily a good thing. And the last thing I want to say is, these children, each generation, it changes quicker and quicker and quicker, because they always have. Each generation looks at the other generation like, oh my God, they're crazy. They're not like us at all. They're not listening. They have all these crazy ideas. Well, that makes sense now, right? This whole evolutionary process. And if we are heating up, if we are getting more access to sun and heat, then perhaps there's a reason for that. It's part of the natural evolutionary process to activate more and more light codes, to have the spectrum open up, the capacity to understand, to see more, to feel more, to know more, to evolve us as a species. That would be a positive thing, right? So when you look at Generation Z specifically, because that's the one that's on the hot seat right now, I have heard nothing but derogatory things about this group, because they don't follow the protocol that has been assigned to them. And they have a whole list of negative, reasons and influences and everything as to why they are the way they are. When really, it's the larger picture is what I was just talking about. And they are perfectly equipped. They're an adaptation to all the things that we have presented to them on a cellular level, so that they can grow and evolve and create a better society for us, exactly where we stand. And since we're looking around right now and everything's out of control and nobody knows what to do about it, what if they were an evolutionary perfected vehicle to bring in everything that we need to create a beautiful, evolved society? And the more that we push them down and don't support them, the worse it's going to be for them. And if there is an extra high depression and suicide rate amongst the kids, you cannot blame it on the computer. When the computer has brought us only amazing things for our society, it's up to us to create the structure for them and the support so that they can blossom and be all that they can be, exactly the way that Albert Einstein was able to, and Walt Disney was able to, despite everything that was put against them. But many others were prey to the ignorance of our society. What if? So that's my thought for the day. I hope you're having a really amazing Sunday. And I hope I planted a seed for everyone, whether you're looking at children or other people or anything. It's time for us to embrace each other, because you don't know what you're looking at sometimes. This goes for each and every one of us, certainly myself. Sometimes with all these preconceived programs and ideas that you have, You don't know what you're looking at. You're judging with a program that has been presented to you to make you behave in a way to stop this evolutionary process. Think about it. If society has been controlled for a long time by a certain group of people who have planned and organized and structured everything, we all know that the school system is antiquated, that it was made for the industrial age. Everybody knows that. They know that it needs to be adjusted. But what if it were much, much larger than that, you know? And I'm just saying. I'm just saying that it's time to change. It's going to change. It can no longer be supported because the evolution of the human species has outgrown, shot past, and evolved despite the control that other people may have wanted to have over this process. It's happening anyway. So this is something to be excited about because it needed to happen a long time ago. And despite some people's best efforts to halt this process, it's happening anyway. And this is wonderful. And as an adult, I would like to be a supportive part of this process, you know, and you can be too, because you're in society every day, whether you have children or not. If you have children, you're in the thick of it, but everyone knows children, everyone interacts with children, and everyone's out there in society, and everything that you do, and every word that you speak, and every emotion that you project towards someone else makes a difference. So just think about it, okay? I love you. Have a great day. Bye.